Sure. My name is Paul Copeland. I'm a graduate of SIU Carbondale. I was in the ROTC program here. When I graduated, I was commissioned into the Air Force, and I served 27 years, mostly intercontinental ballistic missiles, a little bit of space work. And then when I retired from the Air Force, I came back to SIU. I worked for 2 years in the admissions office, and then I got the job here as Veteran Services Coordinator. Well, I'm going to change your word. The term cut implies that there actually is a budget. And so the real unknown is a good chunk of the problem. The fact that there is no budget for the last 2 years means it's really difficult to plan. So if you gave me a budget that included cuts, it might not be easy, but I can at least write a plan for how we're going to get through the year with this limited amount of funds. When you have a planning year where you don't know how much money is going to be available ultimately, it makes it really complicated to plan. And so something like we have a graduate assistant who we're appointing one semester at a time, because we would normally have a 12-month assignment process. The graduate assistant would get a 12-month contract, and now we're working semester by semester to make sure that for the next semester, do we have enough funds to pay for a grad assistant for the next semester? So it just complicates the process, and for the student, it's a little bit stressful waiting to hear, am I going to get the grad assistant benefit next semester? So cuts is a problem, just in terms of shrinking budget and trying to fit the program into a little smaller box. But even more significant is the inability to plan when you have no real budget solution.
My name is Alex Dixon, and I was in the Coast Guard for 5 years, and I'm studying physiology with a minor in chemistry here at SIU. Budget cuts affect me due to the fact that I came back to Illinois for schooling and to finish my degree here in Illinois, because Illinois offers the Illinois Veterans Grant, and then of course I can use my GI Bill here. So I gave Illinois kind of the benefit of the doubt. I knew what was going on with the state and how wonderful our budget has been, but I came back expecting schools to be fine, not have anything to do with education, but for some reason there is a lot to do with it. And I came back to give back to the state pretty much that I was raised in. So with the budget cuts and everything, how I feel about them, I feel like they kind of let me down. They kind of let every single student down, because we stayed in state to go to school, whether we joined the military or not. We stayed in state, and we're kind of being pushed around, and the politicians don't really care about, they have their education, who cares about theirs? I already have mine. So it's kind of selfish, and the state kind of needs to figure it out.
Well, so I guess I'll address the faculty, and I'm not a faculty member, and I don't understand all of the ways of faculty. And there are some really great faculty members that I've worked with who really, really care about every individual student. And I hear stories about some other faculty members who have a little bit of a different attitude, perhaps, that aren't always as supportive as they could be. And I can speak specifically to veteran concerns. When something occurs in the classroom, or they're asking for an accommodation for something, and the faculty member just kind of gives them the runaround or doesn't seem to want to be helpful. That's not really good for the system. The system ought to be about student success and what can we do to help you. Now, the student certainly has some responsibility as part of that, but if you have a legitimate need for something, a simple accommodation, then we ought to be able to work through that and find the solution that's going to help you learn and help you be successful. And we've had issues with the National Guard people during their training weekends when they have to leave early on Friday, and how the classroom, what they're going to miss and how they're going to cover up for that additional information. But I just see it as an attitude shift that says the idea should be, the focus should be on the students and the success of the student, and every student matters, that we ought to take that approach.